Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Get On This podcast here at Positive Futures, giving young people the chance to have their voice and express any feelings that they might want to. So, introduce yourself, guys.
Hi, I'm Sharon.
My name is Pedro, and I'm from North Liverpool Academy. I'm a student, so I'm doing my A-levels. I decided to do math, further maths, and computer science. So, yeah, a lot of numbers, and it's a lot about logic. That's what I like doing.
Nice. So you go to maths then. Funny story.
Yeah.
I'm 25 and I've actually 3 months ago passed my first ever maths exam.
Is it?
So I've got something called dyscalculia. So it's kind of like dyslexic, but just with numbers. So I'm fine with everything else, just numbers. It took me years to pass a GCSE maths exam. So I've finally done that. So where was you a few weeks ago? It could have helped me.
A few weeks ago. So, I know that a lot of people struggle in GCSE math.
Yeah.
I used to struggle a lot in GCSE because, okay, so I came here on year 10 because I'm not born in here. I'm actually born in Brazil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I came here on year 10.
Oh,
So
nice.
I couldn't speak any English. It was terrible. And it was hard to learn math
You've got really
because
good
of
English
that.
now.
Yeah. I like to think I have.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was hard to learn math because I didn't understand the lessons.
Yeah.
So I started the lowest set because in the school the grades, the classes are split
the
into
systems
sets.
and that, yeah.
Yeah, I was in the lowest one because I didn't know much. So on year 11, after 1 year, I was still in the lowest set. It didn't change. But on year 11, I realized that I wanted to do math because it was nice.
Yeah.
So I started to study math, and somehow I went from the lowest set to like the second or the third. And then I was able to do well. I was able to get the grades I wanted,
Yeah.
and I was able to get into the subject I wanted.
Yeah.
That's good.
So it was just
It
learning.
is good.
It was just getting used to the difference of how it's taught over here.
Yeah, I met a lot of people who are really bad at math. I'm bad. But some people just didn't care about math. That's fine. But yeah, that's the difference. I wanted to do math, so that's why I think I was able to get into the A-levels.
Sounds good. So coming over from Brazil, then what is, apart from maths, then what was like the big difference to Liverpool?
The biggest difference ever was the language.
The language. Was it hard getting used to the Scouse accent?
It's impossible to speak even the English, normal English. I couldn't speak any English. My first conversation, I had to use Google Translate to speak
really?
to someone. It was horrible.
Was everyone giving it the chicken and chips and all that? Trying to get you to say that.
People were trying to make me say things that I never heard before. It was horrible because I didn't have any knowledge.
What you were saying.
Yeah,
So how long have you been in Liverpool now for then?
3 years.
3 years, yeah. And do you like it?
It is better. It is way better than Brazil.
Oh really? Yeah.
Way better.
Just the weather's not the best.
I prefer the weather. I prefer
Really,
cold
yeah?
weather than hot weather.
Really, yeah. See, I love it when it's sunny. Like today, I've been made up today, even though I've been sweating, having my hoodie on. Like, but yeah, I love it when it's sunny. I just reckon when you wake up, it's sunny. You just have a well better day compared to waking up in Liverpool sometimes. But that's probably because I've lived here my whole life. Have you always lived in Liverpool?
I actually moved up from the south, so I used to live in Plymouth, then I lived in London,
Oh, okay.
and then I came to Liverpool. I think down south it's so much hotter than it is here.
Oh, really? Yeah.
The north, but like today is really hot.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a nice week this week, actually, isn't it?
I hope so, because I think recently we've had like such cold weather,
Yeah.
like 16 degrees.
Yeah. So this is actually your first proper session here at Positive Futures today,
It
isn't
is.
it? So, I mean, you just come last week, didn't you? But it was only for a few hours, wasn't it? So, what was your first initial thought of Positive Futures?
I was so excited. It looks amazing. Like it's so well decorated.
Yeah,
And
it
so, like-
does look like visually inviting,
I
doesn't it?
know. There's like neon like light rods out there,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think that's so cool.
So the plan in this room as well is to get like a big neon logo on the back wall. So
It is gonna be nice.
That's the next steps. We want to make this room look like a real podcast room.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of journey we'll all be going on as seniors in this place. So have you been told much about the kind of half terms and what we do during when you are off school?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
So when you're off school, we are open the same hours of delivery, But we do a lot more activities, so we get a lot more of organisations come in, and they might do like shows, or they might teach us something over the 6-week period. Every Friday we do an off-site trip. Everything's free as well.
That's something nice to do during the half term.
Yeah, so last summer we went and done like inflatables on the Albert Docks.
Oh my
Which
goodness.
was literally jumping in the Albert Docks. I mean, the water didn't smell that nice, but
I imagine.
you were just jumping off big inflatables. It was amazing. Then we went in Blackpool Sandcastle Beach, which is the water baths with like slides and all that. Then we went to the beach, but we always do a wellbeing walk. So I think last summer we went to Molfama, climbed up the mountain there, and then we're going to do some more activities. But now that you kind of have the opportunity here at Positive Futures, is there anything that you think, oh my God, I'd love if they done this with us, or I'd love if they would take us there?
Actually, I think that's something nice to do. Is camping. I don't.
Camping. Yeah.
That's something I've never done before.
Oh really? Yeah.
But I think it's nice, and the reason I think it's nice is just because
Yeah, outdoors.
it's big. It's
Yeah.
something you're not closed somewhere. You're not locked.
I love going camping. So every October, me and about 20 of my mates, we go to this campsite and set up tents.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of people stay in a tent, a lot of trapped farts in a tent, which is what you don't want. But it happens. Staying in a tent with 8 people, bound to get trapped with a fart in there. Like,
Okay, we're gonna make some good stories with.
yeah, that's it. It's just
in the
memories
tent.
as well. So we started it when not last year, the year before, and we've done it every year. We've booked it again this year. But yeah, it's something to look into. Going
It
camping.
is something nice with a lot of people.
Yeah, so we've actually got loads of camping gear as well. So we've got like 8-man tents, 4-man tents, little fires. So we have gone camping before. So I'll definitely put that forward and see if we can go camping or something like that. Anything else then in or is there anything in the centre that you think would be amazing for us to do in here?
I know there's like instrument. I love instruments. I
Yeah.
think you can tell because I bought a guitar and a ukulele here.
Yeah.
But I think anything more to do with instruments, that'd be so
More.
awesome.
So when we first built the building, this was actually a music studio. However, you can kind of see by the walls, it wasn't.
It didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work. It weren't respected as much as we would have wanted by the young people. But fair enough, sometimes they don't have that kind of idea of how
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes people create rooms, and then because people don't know much about the rooms,
Yeah.
things
So
happen.
what did you think then when it was, because obviously this was the first session of the seniors, how did you think it was giving you the opportunity to come up with the rules for the centre?
I think that was quite nice because it felt like we were more involved in the
You were
process.
taking the lead,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's the idea, is we're here to facilitate the space for you. You're coming in and taking over the space basically, so whatever you want to do, you can do in here. So what you know so far about Positive Futures then, would you recommend it to anyone else? If so, why would you recommend it to Positive Futures?
I would absolutely recommend. In fact, I think I recommended it to like other friends that I know. I think it's just like this environment. It feels
Yeah.
very safe, and it's like there's so much to do here as well.
Yeah.
And I think if you go like outside of school, there's like limited things that you can do because like it's busy. There's loads of
Yeah.
other people, but here it feels like a community.
Yeah.
And it feels like quite nice. Like, it's like a little family.
Yeah, that's what we aim for. So our kind of motto is to enable young people to reach their full potential. So the whole reason we kind of open the space and have it open till late of the night is to kind of stop the kind of paths that some young people can go through, especially in Liverpool. It's kind of a deprived area where we're based at the moment. So, we have high levels of kind of county learning,
Yeah.
which is obviously not good for the city and stuff like that. So I think it is amazing that there's spaces like this available to young people as well. Well, yeah, because you used to be, so how old are you now?
I'm 16, she's 17.
Yeah.
16. Oh, you're 17. So when are you kind of looking to get your first job?
I've already had multiple jobs.
Oh, really? Yeah, go
Yeah.
on then. Tell us some of them.
My first job was packing boxes. Not interesting. We're moving on.
That was my first job as well, weirdly
Really?
enough, yeah.
Yeah.
At 17. No,
It's
16?
16. I think I did it at 14.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. My next job was tutoring, which is tutoring one of my friends out there. It was
Was that
fun.
music?
Oh no, it was with maths.
Oh, sounds. So
So-
you're good at maths as well, then. God, I wish I had known you a few weeks ago.
So I tutored maths for around like a couple of months.
Oh, sounds.
And then moved on to teaching an actual class.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. So I've taught.
So where was
maths.
that at?
This was just our school. They let me just volunteer. and be
Oh, they
like-
just let you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
And again, after that, I did English language tutoring for GCSE,
Oh, okay.
which was, I think that was
So,
fun.
are you in college or school?
I'm in sixth form, but our
Sixth
sixth form's
form.
like built into our secondary school.
But is there anyone that you have kind of grown up being kind of inspired by?
There are some musicians that I listen since I was a kid.
Musicians?
Yeah,
Or maticians, sorry.
both, but
Both.
no, actually just musicians.
Okay.
There's some musicians that, not that I personally know, but that I met when I was a kid, and I kept listening to them.
Yeah.
So I think it would be really nice to just know why they created some song, what made them think about the song.
Yeah.
That's the same about the actor,
Yeah,
knowing about why he wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
I think these are nice things to know about people,
Yeah.
why they want to become something.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of good part about all these streaming services coming out now, is a kind of a lot of heavy-hearted hitting stories are getting told, aren't they? If there was anything that you would kind of like to perform or act in, or I know you like playing guitar and stuff like that, is there anything you would like to do with that in a few years?
I mainly play as a hobby, but because I'm not really like taught professionally. I've just been doing it
Just
as a
taught
hobby.
yourself.
I would love to join like a band. I used to be in a band.
Yeah.
We did nothing, which was really unfortunate. But I'd love to like pursue it further as a hobby because it's like something creative and something that you can use as an outlet.
Yeah. So we actually, in our old building, we had a few other young people who were kind of interested in music and a few other things. So we had this organisation come down, and I forgot the name of them at the moment. But yeah, they come down and they spent 6 weeks working with the young people, teaching them how to... I mean, there were ones that already had an idea of how to use a guitar and stuff, but they taught them some proper real skills. And in the end, some of them have gone on to be in bands performing in town.
That's awesome.
And then we've had another organisation come in called Perception Theatre. They're the same. They kind of tackle hard-hitting stories in Liverpool. So they come and done a performance on Night Crime. But I know they kind of spoke to Asaru, who we spoke to, and I think they kind of give him some guidance, because I know I think he's changed his mind now, but he thought of being an actor at one point. So they kind of give him some tips as well.
He used to act in all our school plays.
Yeah,
He
he
was
is
awesome.
a brilliant actor.
He's good at talking, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? He's got a few skills under his belt, Asaru, hasn't he? Yeah. But I think it was amazing the fact that he managed to bring goose all down and stuff like that.
Something I find nice as well, it's not related to the topic at all.
No, it's
I'm
fine.
just going to talk
It's fine.
about it.
The whole purpose of the podcast.
So, you asked if what I wanted to pursue not as a hobby, but what hobby would I want to bring further?
Yeah.
And I think that's not really common, which is game development. So creating games.
Okay.
I love how games are created.
Yeah.
Because it's
Well,
not.
that's all maths
It's
as
not
well, isn't it?
No, it's not math. It's not obvious because in a game, you have to share a game into a lot of steps. So like you have to make the art of the game,
Yeah.
the sounds of the game, the animations of the game.
Yeah.
You have to code the actual game.
That's why these games take years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like GTA, how long has that been getting made for?
There's like 200 people working on GTA.
Yeah.
Like £10 million, $10 million being invested, and they're taking more than 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
It's like a Hollywood movie.
Yeah. So I'm obsessed with this game franchise called Resident Evil, and I've been waiting on a game for about 3 years to come out.
Goodness.
The last one of the franchise I've been waiting years. Finally got a release date on Friday, just gone.
Oh.
So I'm actually made up. It took ages, but yeah, I can't wait for that. But
These are big studios making games. I know a lot of small studios that make small games, and they can survive with the money from the games they make. So they don't make a big game
Doesn't have to be
and
million,
gain a big revenue, but they make loads of little games, and these games they make money over time because they don't get deleted.
Yeah.
So people keep buying the game, and this small studio who had like 3 games can have 10 little games.
Yeah.
And they can survive being a small studio. I find that really nice, the way that you don't have to be big to survive.
Yeah.
You can just...
Well, it's kind of
Have
like,
loads of-
do you ever remember the Flappy Bird game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. It's like a classic.
Yeah. Well, it is a classic, isn't it? But that got took off the market due to how many people were damaging iPads. And when it went off it was because everyone was trying to get the highest score, weren't they? And
My goodness.
There was like a trend where people started destroying phones and iPads. So it got took off the market, and then people who still had it on their iPads were getting sold for thousands of pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Which was crazy. But yeah, that was a small game.
It wasn't small. I actually know the story of that game, behind that game.
Oh, go on then.
I don't know the place where the game was made. I think it was Canada. I'm not entirely sure about that. It was a team of around 20 people.
Yeah.
They had quite a lot of money. They had like $20,000. But this company was going to failure because they had loads of small games, what I said before.
Yeah.
But because they're mobile games, the mobile market's just way harder to get in.
Yeah.
And they didn't make much revenue to let the company survive. So they were falling down. But once Angry Birds came out, which was like their fifth game,
yeah,
they made a lot of money suddenly.
Yeah.
I just love how things change.
It's mad, isn't it? How someone can like invent something or bring out a song or
like the
a
Beatles
game
from Liverpool.
Yeah, and you kind of never have to do anything else for the rest of your life. Like that, I think his name's Goiti, that someone I used to know, singer.
Oh yeah.
So we brought that song out, and there's never been. Now he's someone we used to know because he's never brought another song out, has he?
Yeah.
But I think that happens a lot in our life, where like someone will invent something never heard of again.
Especially now with like social media, like you'll have someone blow up massively, and then immediately just rescind into like complete oblivion.
Yeah. Well, the weird one that's kind of being recent was that whole Chick-fil-A girl.
Oh, was it the? Oh god,
where she worked in the restaurant. That was just a kind of weird, kind of blew up thing. But good way to kind of go into the next topic of conversation. When I was little, Wi-Fi didn't exist.
Yeah.
So I grew up without Wi-Fi. I think Wi-Fi come into place when I was about 14, going into high school. But when I was little, kids didn't have their own phones or nothing like that. I think the best phone when I was young was like a BlackBerry. Joe, do you know what that? I was going to say, you probably don't know what they are. But yeah, a BlackBerry was the best phone I had. But how do you feel about social media? Because I feel like my generation was the last generation to have a real childhood, because I feel like a lot of young people now have lost their kind of imagination.
I completely understand.
Due to being stuck to a screen. See, when I was little, I was playing out with mates, pretending, to be like a pirate or something like that.
Yeah.
Kids just don't kind of do that anymore.
I think I was quite lucky that my parents didn't like push like screens onto me. They kind of let me do whatever I wanted. I think for me personally, I think I grew up with the internet as it like became more and more popular.
Yeah.
So my childhood mainly composed of just hanging out with my friends, doing stupid stuff that kids are supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I think when I moved to Liverpool like 6 years ago, that's when I especially started using my phone more.
Yeah.
Because contacting old people, and it made me realize like how like superficial social media ended up being. Because back then, when like the early stages of the internet, it was just funny content, things to make you laugh. Yeah. But now it's like there's so much like inappropriate things.
Yeah.
Like. So
I kind of feel that kids nowadays are in like a big rush to grow up. I feel like
especially that.
Yeah. I feel like kids don't want to be kids anymore.
Yeah. I have my friends complaining, oh, why are these year 7s acting like they're
Yeah.
But I think it is partly our responsibility because we are the very same people who formed that internet.
Yeah.
I think when I was a kid, we did cringy stuff. And
Yeah.
we were okay with it because we were kids.
Yeah.
But I feel like now, because we're older, we're like, oh, that was cringy.
Yeah.
And then we're forcing those ideals onto the very same children that we once were.
Yeah.
And then forcing them to become like the version we are now.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they need to go through that cringy phase to become like...
Yeah, but that's it. You've got to be a kid.
Yeah.
You've got to have them childhood memories. So, kind of on this topic of social media and phones and that, then, what do you think about the way that we have our no phone policies?
I think it's healthy.
Yeah.
Because I think as soon as I walked in here, I put my phone in the thing. One of my friends was like, I really want to go on my phone.
Yeah.
Don't go on your phone, you're surrounded by your friends.
Yeah. You realise, don't you, how kind of glued you are to your actual phone until it's taken away from you, and then you realise, oh my God.
I think I used to struggle because of COVID. We used to all just be stuck on like media. And I think progressing past that, trying to get off my phone and trying to like live my life
Yeah.
was difficult. I sometimes still struggle. I will just end up there doom scrolling
Yeah.
for ages because
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's easy and it's
I'm really
convenient.
bad for overnight, so I'll kind of get ready for bed, turn everything off, switch the telly off, straight away go on my phone.
Yeah.
And then it's gone 2 hours. I'm like, oh my god, I need to go to sleep. I've got work in the morning. I'm still just doom
Yeah.
scrolling, as you've just said.
It like makes you feel really guilty.
Yeah.
But it's just something so easy and convenient. It gives you that rush of dopamine.
Yeah.
And I think when you're living in a world where it's like, I feel like people are very pessimistic nowadays.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, there's no jobs in the market.
Yeah.
There's no houses available.
Yeah.
And it's hard for us kids to be like, wow, I look forward to the future.
Exactly,
But it feels like everything's just the
exactly.
climate crisis.
Yeah.
But-
I think that's why it is important that we are kind of giving you the opportunity through this podcast to have your opinions and have your say and discuss about how things can change, and because you are going to be leading the future.
Yeah.
It's your generation that's going to be, you know, making these kinds of choices. So I think the best your voices now can be heard will kind of support and guide us moving forward in the future.
Yeah, that is gonna happen with the podcast. It helps a lot. I want to come back to the last topic because I've been dying to say something about it. Where you guys were talking about it, I didn't want to interrupt. So, you know how the internet has made things like child don't be child anymore because of something.
Yeah.
And you said about pessimistic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said people are more pessimistic, and I don't think that's necessarily true
Really, go on.
because beforehand they didn't have internet.
Yeah.
But the people didn't change. They just didn't have internet. And because of internet, they were able to expose what they were thinking without showing their identity. So, for example, back then,
Okay. Yeah.
when they wanted to say something, they would probably write in the journal
Yeah.
something that's happening. So, the president has lost 10,000 pounds for blah blah blah. They could say that in the journal, and people would know that much more slowly.
Yeah.
But now in the internet,
It's quicker getting out there.
because you have social media, everyone just knows about it at the same time.
Yeah.
And because everyone knows about it at the same time, there's much more repercussion about it.
Yeah.
So more videos are created, more news are created, and it sounds like more people don't know about it, and it sounds like it's bigger, but
Yeah.
actually isn't. It's just
I
So,
get what you mean.
What are your then kind of... I fully understand your
Yeah.
idea as well there, but kind of thinking that way then, in regards to how you kind of see the internet, how do you then see the way AI is going forward? Because a lot of fake news is coming and a lot of fake videos is coming through AI.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of films, a lot of music, as you've just said, is getting made through artificial intelligence.
I think that AI can help humans a lot, but it can destroy humans as well.
Yeah.
It's like, it's good and bad in the same time, because in the same way that AI can make it easier for you to get information, can make it easier for you to find something that it shouldn't require.
Yeah.
I just don't have the words.
Creativity.
Yeah. You can easily get the ideas from the AI.
Yeah.
You can get ideas, you can get inspiration, you can build things from the AI.
Yeah.
But
Well, we designed this room through AI. So
Seriously?
Yeah. So
Oh my
there's a
goodness.
poster out there with the design of how we want it to look.
That's
Yeah.
actually something
That
I don't
was
like
all.
about AI. People
I
use
agree.
AI too much.
It
And
is a very...
They substitute humans by AI.
Yeah.
I just want to add on to that. I'm an artist, so like draw stuff.
Okay.
I think for AI recently, AI art has been massive in
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and even within our school, we've had posters made by AI.
Yeah, that was horrible.
And I
Oh,
think
really?
I think in a way AI is replacing people in the sense that AI is able to develop something technically creative, although it's just stolen.
Yeah.
But it feels like I feel like it's killing artists in a way.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, I understand like you've just used AI to design this room, but there's also people like who
That
could
could have
come.
done that.
Yeah, and I think that kind of makes me sad.
Yeah. It's kind of a scary topic to imagine where it will be in so many years.
Yeah, I was on a trip recently, and it was just like a social trip, and I met this girl who had friends who are artificial intelligence,
Okay.
and it's like, has AI came to such a conscious extent that we can classify them as people?
Well, it's weird, isn't it? Because have you got Snapchat?
No, I have
Do
not.
you have Snapchat? So there's something on there, isn't it, called My AI?
Oh wait, I do know what that is.
And you can ask it questions, and Well, some people do generally have conversations with it.
Yeah.
I hate when people use AI as humans,
Yeah.
but for conversation specifically, because the AI doesn't know anything about the context of the world. It just says something that it's common.
Yeah.
Not common in a way that everyone knows, but common in a way that it should be like. I don't want to say it should be like that, but common in a way where the majority of the people think of like that.
Yeah.
So like, what's the best color for a room? People could ask AI that, and the AI could say white. But because the room is a podcast room,
Yeah.
you would want to say black maybe,
Yeah.
because podcast, black.
Yeah.
But I feel like with AI, I think it's developed to the point where you can't differentiate it from a general opinion anymore. It's able to understand the context of any
Yeah.
conversations.
I
you've
think
had.
if it kind of went to the point where it was controlling itself, would be the time to be like, oh my god, what's going on here?
I find it interesting though that you say that, because does it need to control itself to be like viable as
Well,
controlling
would
itself?
you describe it as being a living thing?
I'd say that everything it's doing is calculated and premeditated. But the thing is, we've created it to the extent that, like, we've created it like a human being.
Yeah.
So what exactly is the difference? Everything we do, is it premeditated by our thoughts? What's so different between an algorithm and the algorithm in our brain deciding what I'm going to say
Yeah,
next?
you know what, that's actually quite an interesting way to look at it.
Because I understand that we are the ones who have created it and there is a set way of how things think. But are we not the same in the way we're built on the context of our experiences?
Yeah.
So, like, especially
it's
now.
very up and down, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very debatable.
Yeah.
Because I think before, when AI was less developed, people could easily argue, yeah, it's just a program.
Yeah.
It's just doing what we've said it to do. But now, because it's learning through machine learning, it's going through different, like, experiences.
It's getting smarter, basically.
It's getting smarter.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a similar way, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And that's so strange to me. I don't think I'll ever see AI right now as a physical conscious being. But I feel like we might eventually progress to that extent where you can.
Yeah.
Which is freaky.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you see the Tesla robot, imagine if that kind of started to develop its own artificial intelligence.
Yeah, it's just like, it's slightly
Where-
horrifying,
I just
isn't
wouldn't
it?
trust
Where
my life
does it
to
go?
a Tesla
No.
robot.
No. It'd be like Terminator 2 all over again.
Oh, that goes, like, what do you think of self-driving cars?
See, I can't drive, so I would love a self-driving car, because I can get easily distracted me, so I always envision myself being in a car and being like, whoa, look at that bird there. That's what I always imagine that. And then I don't know why, I just kind of, whenever I'm in a car and I see someone reverse, I'm like, oh my god, like I couldn't do that. So I would love a car that drove itself.
I think
Well, they have it in America as well, don't they?
They do.
Uber,
they have it in China as
self-drive.
well.
Oh, do they? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would mind a self-driving car, because I don't think the car would make any mistakes.
Yeah.
But that goes into, what if it does? Who's responsible?
Yeah. Well, there's the video of America, isn't he, where he's he calls a taxi, the one
Yeah.
that drives himself, and he's sat in the back, and the car's like starts slowly driving into traffic, and the fella's just stood there going, where are you going, wrong way. But then there's no one there to change it,
Yeah,
to
so,
change where it's going.
like, what would you do in that situation?
Exactly.
Just like, because would you, okay, let's say you owned a car, and this wasn't a taxi, you owned a self-driving car, and you were like, I can't be bothered to drive today, let me sit in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
And then you drive to a location, and the car hits a kid. Whose fault is it? Is it
Yeah.
the company's or is it yours?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? But it's meant to speak back to you as well, and stuff like that. Some of the clips I've seen, like people are talking to the car as it's moving. But then there's videos of people like pure asleep at the wheel.
Yeah. It's,
But I can imagine when they come into place, a lot of cars were getting pulled over. I can imagine. So
yeah, because like there's no driver in the driver's seat, like.
it's crazy, the world and technology and where it's going. And
I don't think it's necessarily
are.
bad. I think it can be bad, but it's not bad. There's up to a point where technology is okay. So
Yeah.
like internet, I think it's good if more people can know about things,
Yeah.
because internet means infinite knowledge.
yeah,
Yeah.
If I wanted, I could learn about math right now. I could learn about geography.
yeah,
I could learn how to have a podcast. I could
Yeah.
learn about art, something like anything. But there is a point after this where AI, which is what we were talking about, could substitute all these things.
That's what I think as well.
Yeah, so if let's say I wanted to learn a podcast, before I would watch a video of someone that has a podcast, and I would learn how that person has the podcast. But now I could ask the AI about tips of a podcast, and the AI would probably give me the most common answer.
For it and that. Yeah.
It makes me wonder though, like, with our increasing population, how much of our content is actually original?
Yeah. Well, that's it. How many videos do you see on like social media, Facebook, Instagram, and underneath you say AI created? And then you're like, I've just watched that video, it's not even true. Or you're seeing a lot of these videos coming out and then you're finding out they're not true, which I think is kind of
that is
a bit of a worry there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like some of the stuff that was coming out about Trump and
you can fake identities really easily with AI.
Faking identities. I think that's another thing that's been worrying is the amount of like scam calls.
Oh my god, I keep getting those.
Yeah, I get them all the time. It's just that's. I think that's improved massively over the years as well.
I hope so. I think AI itself is useful, but it's so dangerous in the ways people are taking advantage of it. Because there's people like using it for scam calls. I don't know if I can say the next thing actually.
No, go on, that's fine. But it's our podcast. Say what you like.
There's people like who create nudes of people, and I feel like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Because
it's scary, isn't it? But you see all these celebrity ones that come out and they're not true.
Yeah.
There's lots of discussions about that where you have something, and that something is not made for the bad use.
Yeah.
But you can have a bad use of that thing.
Yeah.
So like, I have loads of examples of things like that. So like, atomic bombs. The person that created atomic bomb, which was Einstein, he didn't want to destroy anything.
No, he
just was trying to learn.
Yeah.
But then people used the atomic bomb wrong.
Yeah.
That's what's happening to the AI. Someone created the AI for something, probably make life easier, like it's happening right now. But people are using this AI wrong to do bad things.
Yeah.
But I think AI necessarily itself was built for. It was developed further by the government. That's why it's so prominent now. Because the government have realised this is useful. You can use it in like military.
And you don't know how much the governments are using it to tell kind of untruth, maybe.
Yeah.
Or kind of make stuff sound truthful that maybe might not be.
I think there's a big push now with propaganda and a lot with like, I think it's called social bias, in which you see things that you agree with, so it encourages you to agree with them more. And I think right now society is so divided in that sense because we're given information that we believe and we agree with, so we agree with it even more.
That happens a lot in statistics. That's related to math, but the way you show some data can make someone think the data is true even though it's not true.
Correlation is not causation. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think I was on a forum the other day and it was like, 40%, oh god, I can't remember the numbers, but it's like, the more people who apply to our program is more likely to get into Oxford, because it's like an Oxford program. But then it's like, it's probably because the people who want to go to Oxford,
they apply to the program.
So it's like the statistic makes sense if you just say it. But then if you think about it a little more, it's like everything's so manipulated now. It's so difficult to find information you believe and be genuine.
Yeah. That's like fell off.
It did fall off.
That's alright. Right guys, I think we shall call that there.
It was nice.
Thanks for listening to episode 2 of the Get On This podcast. Thanks Sharon and Pedro. And next episode 3 will be released next Wednesday. Okay.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.